As water levels continue to drop drastically in the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro, residents are feeling the pinch. Residents of the western suburbs in Gqeberha, St. Albans and KwaNobuhle are experiencing intermittent water cuts to accommodate other areas. The combined dam levels sit at just above 14%, with one of the biggest suppliers, Kouga, dropping to a mere 5%. Despite this, the municipality has assured residents the metro will not reach day zero. For more on this, we cross to our colleague Anda Nqonji, who is following the story. A very good morning to you, Anda. It looks like the drought situation is becoming a major concern for the metro. Take us through what's happening at the moment.
Well, a very good morning to you, Desiree. Indeed, the drought situation is becoming a concern, and residents are indeed feeling the pinch, with the water levels in our dams dropping drastically over the past couple of days. Well, we did visit a dam last week, Kouga Dam, one that used to be rather one of the biggest suppliers, and it had dropped to 5.10%, but the recent reports are that it has actually dropped below 5%. Well, as you have mentioned, that the combined dam levels actually currently sit just below 14%, which shows you the hectic situation in the Nelson Mandela Bay. The other biggest supplier in this metro is, or rather was, Mpofu Dam, which is now way below 40%, which just gives you an idea of the situation in the Nelson Mandela Bay. But what is becoming clear is that the residents are feeling the pinch of everything that is happening. And what was surprising, actually, as we went out to the streets to speak to a couple of residents, just to find out what they think of the situation, was that they did not understand or were unaware that the Nelson Mandela Bay is hit by drought, as most of them are complaining, saying that it could be because of the municipality that they do not have running water, and actually frustrated that it's been like that for some time, saying that there are intermittent water cuts, and for some it goes for days and a couple of days and even weeks before they can actually get water into their taps. But let me also remind you that the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro has been installing water restriction meters, making sure that the residents are adhering to the minimum water that they're supposed to be using a day, and that they do not proceed with that. And of course, the other major problem that has been faced by this metro is water leaks. It's been an ongoing problem that the metro has been trying to solve, and they say that even though 25% of the water supply goes into waste due to leaks, but they are basically trying, and they have already tried to solve 30,000 leaks, and also mentioning that what they're trying to work on right now is a turnaround time, that is the point between the report of a water leak and the time in which basically the municipality goes out and tries to resolve the problem. But let me just show you a brief conversation that I've heard earlier this week with the councillor, or MMC rather, for infrastructure and engineering, where he assured the residents that they will not be facing a day zero regardless of the drought situation right now.
In this dam, we would normally get 70 million litres to supply the Nelson Mandela. Now we are allocated only 18 million litres. It just tells you the significant drop because of what is happening here. And secondly, we decided to bring you here so that you can see, as part of the awareness of the dire situation that we are in the city. It is really serious, and unfortunately we are not getting the response that we hope for from our city, because we are using more than what we are allocated. We are using water of about 300 million litres per day, whereas we are allocated only 268. So this is the problem that we are encountering in Nelson Mandela, and we're pleading with our communities to reduce the water consumption.
And you have earlier on mentioned things like intermittent water cuts. What else is the metro doing to make sure that now the residents are adhering to the water restrictions that are in place?
We will keep on asking them and pleading with them to reduce the consumption, because we are having these interventions now in areas like KwaNobuhle and areas like Thornhill, St. Albans, the correctional service will start to feel the pinch because of what we are doing as the residents of Nelson Mandela. We will be putting Jojo tanks in KwaNobuhle in strategic positions to intervene in this situation, whilst we are busy with our engineering to try and reticulate our water from Gqeberha and supply areas like KwaNobuhle. Our Gqeberha is giving us something like 160 million liters a day. Now, end of September, we are expecting to get something like 210. But that does not mean that our communities should not play their part. The problem, they are not playing their part. We are trying to augment our water and make sure that they open a tap to get the water. You don't want to queue to go and get water in a tank where it's allocated somewhere. You want to open a tap and get water, not get a bucket and go and get water.
And I know in the past the municipality has been very vocal about attempting to dodge day zero. Now, with the estimation that this dam might be empty by June, how possible do you think that is? Is it even practical, to continue having running water in our taps?
Yes, it will be practical. As I said to you, there are reticulations that we are doing currently to make sure that people do get water. But we are asking our people that don't shorten that period whilst we are busy with engineering, trying to reticulate this water. By consuming more, when the consumption is very high, that means you're shortening the period that we would have been. So if you lessen the water that you are using, it gives you enough time, it gives us enough time as well to do the engineering and make sure that you get water in the tap. Day zero, it's something that Nelson Mandela will not have. We will have intermediate water supply, but it doesn't mean that it's day zero. In Nelson Mandela, we've drilled boreholes that we're working on now to augment our water. So that is, we're pleading to our people, by reducing the consumption, it gives us more time as well to work on these interventions that will be making sure that water coming to your tap, not to queue for the water.
No problem. I know it's pretty hot, but just one last question before I let you go. One of the wars that I know the Nelson Mandela Metro has been dedicated in fighting is the war against the leak. How far are you with that?
Water leaks, it's a moving target. We are doing very well. I mean, from December until now, we just did over 30,000 leaks. Yes, this week we got another 4,000 leaks that have been given to our contractors. Remember, we've employed about 7 contractors to supplement our staff. 7 contractors that are working there fixing water leaks everywhere, every day. There's nothing else that I'm looking at, is to seal the tank, make sure that the water leaks are being fixed. As I said before, water leaks is something that will happen even in the first world countries. But what's important is the turnaround time in fixing the leak. The leak must not be there for days and weeks. We must try and minimize that time. That is what we're targeting. We're setting it for our executive director as part of his KPI, that we make sure that you reduce the turnaround time in fixing the water leak.
Well, that was the MMC for Infrastructure and Engineering, encouraging the residents to continue adhering to the restrictions and actually emphasizing that residents have got 500 liters per household to utilize, and that if they proceed that given number or those given liters, then they will suffer the end of of their actions, as they are the ones who will be running without water. But one other thing that I would like to emphasize on is the issue of JoJo tanks. As we went out there, we could see trucks distributing water in various areas, especially in KwaNobuhle, where we actually spoke to the residents to try and find out how they felt about that. Most of them were rather complaining and not so pleased to not have non-running water from their tanks, saying that it is quite a strain, as now they need to boil the water to ensure that it is safe for usage, and that sometimes it causes things like runny tummy, and that it was not of a better quality than the ones that rather than the one that they would receive on their tanks or in their tanks. So it is pretty clear that they are the most affected, and some of them actually emphasizing on things like electricity being also a problem, and asking the municipality to actually go out there and reach out to them and talk to them about these things, because like I said earlier on, some of the main problems was the issue that they did not even know that there was drought, and they actually mentioned that if perhaps the municipality would would go out to the people and, set out a schedule for the intermittent water cuts like they would with electricity, then maybe they would be able to save water and they would know what to expect. Back to you in studio.
And while we have you, I just want to ask you a quick one. Mayor Gqeberha has previously said that this is a priority activity for him, ensuring water supply to residents of the municipality. I'm wondering if they are taking any, or they're having any conversations with the city of Cape Town, which has recently had this challenge but was able to overcome.
Well, indeed, some of the strategies that they are looking at employing are indeed of the advice of the city of Cape Town. They have actually mentioned that, they are trying by all means to make sure that they engage the whole country. As you understand that this is not an issue or a problem restricted to Port Elizabeth or the Nelson Mandela Bay rather, but also in other bigger cities.